and welcome to Tarot Talk. I'm delighted today to have with us Claire Lilly. She is the creator of Aunt Lily's Tarot deck, which is right now funding on Kickstarter. And she is a wonderful person. We've been chatting, and she has created a deck that is truly amazing. It's beautiful, it's diverse, it's appropriate for all ages. Welcome, Claire. We're delighted to have you here.
Thank you, Tamara, and thank you for your invitation. I'm excited to be here.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about your tarot journey, Claire?
Sure. I've actually always been into astrology and numerology since I was about 11 years old, and tarot came a little later. I was invited to see somebody via a friend, have a reading done at 17 years old, and I do remember going into her house and sat down, got given the cards. And I dropped them everywhere. I dropped them on the floor. They were everywhere. I was so embarrassed and thought, what have I done? This is just no good. Once I sorted myself out and got all the cards back, she pulled, I remember it was a Celtic cross actually, and I asked her to do my mum and dad. That was it. And she gave me absolute spot on information that there is no way she could have known. And that was it. That just took my passion to tarot. I still like astrology and numerology, but that was it for me. Loved it. And I was 17 and now I'm a lot older.
So you've been working with tarot for quite a while then.
Yeah, I think life takes over and it comes and goes. And I used it a lot throughout my adult life, really, because I didn't have many people to speak with on topics that I felt I didn't want them to know. So I consulted readers and things, and I had a couple of readers myself, and I pulled the cards for me too, which helped me through my sort of stuck parts of life. And we all have those.
Do you have a process? What's your process when you read for yourself or for others?
I do. I actually do some kind of white light protection. I just put some protection around me and ask, spirit or the universal energy to give me the best information in the kindest way possible to whoever needs that reading. It depends on what I want to do on the day. If I want to, shuffle the cards, split into 3 piles, choose a pile. I think it really depends on how I feel and what I need to know. I do like doing the one day pull a card. I did one a little while ago. It was the Emperor, and I'm like, right, I've got to focus. And it's weird, but it does. It puts you in that focused mind of what you had to do that day. So I like to do that, and for me, it's just helping people. If I can help anybody through a stuck time, that's my job done. And I use the tarot, numerology, and astrology to help them move forward. And when you see that light bulb moment go off, or that, I will be able to move forward, and that's perfect for me. Absolutely love it.
When you read, do you have particular spreads that you use, or do you just go off the cuff, or do you create spreads as you read?
All of the above. It really depends. Again, I do like to have a few cards out there. I must admit, I do like more cards than less. Because I do tend to put a 3-card spread on top. So a Celtic cross would be something I go to. There is a 15-card spread that I use as well, which is it's very interesting how you can read it across, vertical, diagonal, and that's one which I've been practicing and honing in skills. But I also use clarifiers sometimes. So if I want to be really nosy or go down a little bit more depth into something, that can help too. But I guess I do it as I'm drawn to it. But I've got different spreads out there that I use. It depends on the call, on the length. There's so many different factors to it.
It sounds like you're a very intuitive reader.
Yes. I think I'm a very logical person, to be honest, to start with. But then as the reading goes forward, the things come in, or I say something, they're like, how do you know that? No, I don't know how I know that, but it comes in, and it's an energy exchange that I use with people. Always have done.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So what prompted you to design your own deck? That's a huge undertaking.
Okay, so last year was 2020, and COVID was pretty rife then, and a lot of tarot readings weren't happening, face to face, unless it was on Zoom or another medium or on the phone. And I was doing email readings. We went up to South Dakota where my husband's family are, and I took my decks with me and did some readings over the phone. And one of his nieces came up to me and, oh, what's that? What are these? Can I have a look? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can. So she was looking through the decks. She was picking out cards. I like this one. I like that one. What does it mean? I'd ask her what she thought it meant, to be honest, because that's what tarot to me is all about. Did I get it right? And then it was every morning it was, can I pick a card for you? Can I pick a card for my brother? Can I pick a card for grandpa? So this became ritual every day. And she sort of sit by me like my little shadow. And she asked me, have you had feedback yet? Were you right on that one? And it was fascinating watching her with the cards as well. She wasn't scared of them. It was colourful. She loved the colours. She loved I was using the Kiro Marchetti Grand Royale deck, which is fab. And she just absolutely fell for it, absolutely loved it. And after 2 weeks, we had to go home, and she said, can I have a deck? And I said, yep, as long as your mum's okay with that. So anyway, got the approval. And I said I'd find a deck, which I thought was suitable for her. Couldn't, that was my problem. There are many wonderful decks out there, but something that didn't resonate with me for her. So we had, quite dark decks and sexual. And then we went the other side with Hello Kitty and Gummy Bears, which, I don't know, we needed something in the middle. And I just said, let me create you a deck. And as long as she could help me and pick some ideas and give me some, feedback on what I'm doing. And we had a little bit of collaboration over Skype and Zoom, and she got really into that. And she wanted to be in the deck, and then her sister was in the deck, and then another niece was in the deck, and it became a family project. Really, that's what that was about. So that's how it all started.
So, yeah. Claire, how did you design the deck? How did you decide which cards you were going to work on as you worked through the deck?
Yeah, absolutely. I started with the Ace of Cups. I wanted to start with the minors, and my vision was to have all the suits the same color palette. So all the cups were one color palette, all the pentacles, swords, and wands. I was talking to my stepdaughter actually, and I was asking the generation that she's 14 then, asking her generation, her friends, what's important to them. And right now it's all about environmental friendly, they love buying clothes from the shops, like Goodwill and all the charity shops, because they don't want to buy brands, they're like saving the world at the moment. And one of their big ones was environmental friendly recycling. So I thought, actually, the cup has got to have a recycling symbol on it. So that's how that started. Again, I didn't want it to be so obvious, but I wanted to be subtle in there, not to sort of blatantly say what it is. But because I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, I had to go and find an artist who could take ideas from my head and my scribbles and put them into, a drawing, which I was so lucky. This is where I actually did use the tarot cards to choose my designer. So I don't know why, but I picked the Chariot. The Chariot card, I wanted to see a girl a girl on her skateboard with two dogs being pulled along. And I used that as the information. And I said, okay, whoever's artwork, I think I went out to 4 or 5 people. I said, you draw and see what happens. Well, I had 2 which I was hovering between. I did the tarot, I did a couple of drawings and pros and cons and things. And I found Maria, who was actually in the Philippines, and her team were just brilliant. So this is the card she did. This is the prototype. So the dogs are actually more inside the card. But she took my vision And I love the fact she put the railroad crossing behind. I didn't even say that, because that to me is, after the lovers, you've made a decision, you now move forward. And the dogs are taking her for a ride instead of the sphinxes or horses. Yeah, it's just something different. And so Maria and I were working together all the way through. And she's got somebody that works with her who is brilliant, actually taking an image of you and putting it on a card. So this is the young lady who this is all for. This is my niece, who was the inspiration behind Aunt Lily's tarot deck. And she played softball, but if you saw a picture of her and her face there, you know it's her. So I'm very lucky to have found them. They were fantastic to work with, but there was no rush. You see, there was no time limit, no time scale. We just took it day by day, card by card. But the cups were the first suit. Then I went to the wands. Then I went to the pentacles, and I went to the swords. But in my mind, I already had ideas for the majors. So that's how that process went. Wow.
So what are some of your favorite cards?
Oh, I can't say all of them. I know that.
Pick 5.
5? Oh, I've got 6 here. I'll put one down.
Pick 6.
Oh, I want it to be different. I think one of my thoughts, and same with my niece, was that I wanted to bring tarot into the modern world. Rider-Waite was back in 1909 and fabulous designs and images, but it's really not current. So let me give you an example. This is one of my favorite cards. It makes me smile. This is the Page of Cups. And she's on the sand. There's a little boat behind her, a cruise ship behind her, and she's taking a photograph with her mobile phone of a fish jumping out of the cup. So it's bringing that sort of up-to-date technology, if you like, into the card. One of my other things that I was really very keen on doing was bringing different skin tones in, because we are all different. And one of my favourites there is the Ten of Pentacles, having a blended family. Because again, this is what happens in everyday life.
Real life, yeah.
So beautiful. Yeah, it's real life. Absolutely. So that was a good one. Again, 3 of Cups. Here we go. This is a guy in the middle with a girl with pink hair, because that's what you see today. Why do all friends have to just be all girls? I know that's standard, and that was the Rider-Waite, but why not make it a little bit more modern? On top of that, I wanted to bring in some people who have had some kind of affliction, which sounds a bit odd, but I'm going to try and find my Queen of Cups now, because again, I thought I had this one out. I'm sorry. Do you want to pause for a sec?
That's fine.
Where did I put her? She's so good that I put her somewhere else. I have my little, my pile's on the other side. Okay. All right. So let me do that bit again. So on top of skin tone, on top of the skin tone changes, right. I also wanted to bring in some afflictions, if you like. So let me explain. There's the Queen of Cups that way. She's in a wheelchair. It's not obvious, but I wanted to bring, again, just normal people in, because there are people out there in wheelchairs. It's not obvious, but to me it is.
Yeah, it's inclusive. Yeah. And that's
very much so.
That's very powerful, I think, to be inclusive and diverse and representing real life people. And
absolutely,
yes, people we know.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, the Empress, everybody sees a pregnant woman. Personally, I've not had my own children, so it doesn't resonate with everybody. But I tell you what I did do. My dog Iris had a litter of 11 puppies, and she couldn't feed them all. So we were busy helping nurture and take care of her puppies. So to me, this was a wonderful Empress card. Um,
Perfect.
yeah, a couple of the other cards which I wanted to just bring in was some of the scary looking ones, like the Three of Swords with the stabbing of the sword through the heart. Again, I wanted to keep it Rider Waite specific for beginners. But instead of having that heart the way it was, what I decided to do is, because threes are creativity, is have a guy draw it. It's not as scary, I guess, like that.
Wow. That's
So
very creative.
it's
That's very creative way to take that issue and incorporate it into your card. I love that.
thank you. Another one was the devil, and I know a lot of people who follow religion see the devil and that's it, they're anti the cards, but I've called it the fallen angel, and this one here is an angel who's manipulating with like a puppeteer, the marionettes there with the lovers. So it's just showing it's slightly different view on it, but not as hard hitting, if you like.
Well, you've taken out the Judeo-Christian archetypes, and that removes a lot of what do I want to say, that baggage that sometimes people have looking at the cards, which I understand. Yeah,
Absolutely. I've just got a couple more, and then I'll
yeah.
be quiet.
No, you're great. It's your interview.
Why not? Again, death. Death with a skeleton riding on a horse is pretty yucky, and especially as I was don't forget, I had like 11, 12-year-olds in mind whilst creating the deck. So I changed it to transformation. So here we've got the very typical caterpillar into a chrysalis into a butterfly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then the R card. This one means a lot to me. I'm just going to show you it. This is the strength card.
That's probably my favorite card that I've seen of yours in your deck, just because it does it. There's something so incredibly powerful in a child being strength, and a child going through something so difficult, and the inner strength that it takes and it develops. And I think that's just an amazing card, Claire. I really do think it's one of my favorites that I've seen in your deck. I love it.
Thank you. This one I thought might be a bit controversial, to be honest, and I don't have a problem being a little bit controversial. But, there's a couple of reasons this one is as is. This one was in my mind very quickly. I wanted to depict a child. Whenever you see adverts on TV, like St Jude's Hospital and things, all the kids are smiling. They've got this inner resolve, this determination to see things through. And I think they actually end up supporting the parents a lot of the time, because I'm going to fight this. I've also gone through breast cancer, so I've got a cancer connection. And my father-in-law passed with leukemia earlier this year too. But to have that child just give that big lion a great big cuddle, like, you're going to protect me and I'm going to do this and I'm going to beat it. I think that's just a perfect image of strength, and I've had some amazing comments about that card.
It makes me think. I had a nephew who was in and out of the hospital at a very young age, and he passed away actually at the age of 9. And it makes me think of him because he was so unique in our family, and we always thought, it was probably a combination of things that that those experiences really, unfortunately, made him grow up before he would have otherwise. And he had this light inside of him that was so amazing that really, I think that kind of hardship, it just brings that strength to the forefront. And for you to choose an image like that, I think is really, as I said, I think it's wonderful, it's powerful and inclusive, and I love that. So
Thank you. And that's again, it's the inclusivity. You know, there are kids out there, there's everybody out there who's going through some medical issue and, you know, often don't feel included in society. And I just wanted to put a couple in there. It wasn't like, right, you know, let's have somebody who's like this or like that. It was the card, and it called to me. Strength, it was really easy. Queen of Cups to me was quite a nice one where she could sit there and dangle her foot, you know, into the water. But I will tell you my hardest card. My hardest card was the Hierophant. I kept the word Hierophant because I didn't know what else to call it, because teachers sounded too much like school. And the Hierophant being a spiritual guide, or somebody who really is passionate about what they believe in. And I was going down the teacher route with school, but I decided to take events from last year, which was the protesters. And my Hierophant, let me get that right for you, is a speaker on, actually that's the Spanish Steps in Rome. But he's a speaker, and actually this is a prototype deck, but he actually's got a book now. He's holding a book too. But again, that brings it into more of a modern day living.
Nice.
So that was the hardest one to do.
Yeah. How long did the whole process take from beginning to end?
We're actually about a year now.
Well, that's not very long for such a big undertaking. Wow.
No, I suppose it's not, but because there was no rush and it's something that I was really dedicated to do, and it was a family thing, and the way everything worked, I think if I'd made it a real business decision to do this, we wouldn't be where we are now.
Yeah.
I think having a relaxing sort of take it as it comes and goes helped it develop the way it should have done instead of being forced. But it was interesting because I'm part of a lot of tarot groups like yours, which is the best tarot group. Oh my goodness. So great for beginners. I'm so pleased I'm a moderator. I love to see all these comments and people coming in. But being part of these groups and academies, I was showing people what I was up to, and then I get, can I have a deck? Can I have a deck? Could I have a deck? And I'm like, okay, perhaps this isn't just for the younger generation. And certain comments I've had things like, I could use your cards, and nothing is inappropriate, nothing scary. I could put that to a client. So it just gives another alternative to decks out there. So I thought, well, you know what? There comes a point where you think, well, if you've been asked that many times, why not give it a go, you know? And that's where this Kickstarter came in. I've had help from so many people, not just encouragement, but people who have done it themselves. They've been encouraging and supporting and telling me little things to look for and stuff. So I've got massive thanks to everybody out there for all sorts of things they've helped me learn and discover, and pitfalls and what I should and shouldn't do.
Well, and congratulations, because your deck was just fully funded last night. So exciting.
Last night. It was, I've been keeping an eye on it, and I went to bed about 10:30, and it was like 100%. It's like, wow.
So
I didn't sleep well.
I bet. It's so exciting.
I'm
delighted. It's a gift to the world, I think. It's a gift from the heart to the world, and I do think it's for all ages. And I hope that you're fully funded, but I hope people continue to support you. And this deck is a great deck for everyone, every age, as a gift for young people and for friends and for yourself. And I just love it. So we will link to the Kickstarter below. But Claire, once the Kickstarter is over, will people still be able to purchase the deck?
Oh, absolutely. And just to let you know, because we didn't touch on it, that was my fault. There are 2 sizes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there was a reason for that. Again, smaller cards for smaller hands. But actually, they're really good for clarifiers, and they're really good for a handbag or pocket size to have with you. So that's cool. But yes,
I love
absolutely.
that it comes in two sizes. So yeah, so like for younger people, like you said, for a niece around 11 or 12, that'd be perfect size for them to take with them and have with their little hands. That's great.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was another thing that we agreed, with my niece, that we needed two sizes. And I've also done some stickers. That's the other thing I've got in,
Oh,
because a lot of people journal, and like me, I can't draw. So if I pull a card, I'm writing it down, which is a bit boring. So I've made all the cards are in stickers as well, so you can use those for journaling and having in front of you to help you through a day. So
fantastic.
that's yeah, and yes, it'll be on my website,
Okay, and
which
so what's your
is
website?
okay. It's www.claire CLAIRE dash Lily LILY.com.
Wonderful. And when does the Kickstarter end?
The Kickstarter finishes Friday, August the 20th, which is a week Friday from this interview at 11 p.m. Central. So that's midnight Eastern and 9 p.m. Pacific.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm so delighted that you are fully funded, that the deck is happening, and I can't wait to get my copies.
Yeah,
I ordered a few
absolutely.
copies, and I'm excited about it, and I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to have it in my hands and use it. And I hope that everybody who watches this, grab a deck for yourself, for a friend, for a niece, a nephew, a family member. I think it's an amazing deck. It's inclusive, it's diverse, it's appropriate for all ages, and it's just absolutely beautiful and comes from the heart of Claire and her family. Thank you so much, Claire, for being with us today and for telling us about your deck, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care.